Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Boiling Point Podcast. I'm here for an impromptu episode to talk about the State of the Union, which just ended a few minutes ago. And I'm all still getting back into the swing of getting things rolling again. The State of the Union just ended a few minutes ago, and there was a couple of things that I definitely wanted to just discuss real quick. First, the positives. We got to see President Trump award 2 congressional medals of honor towards the end of the speech, and that was pretty awesome, in my opinion. It was really awesome to see that, and and some of the other special shout outs that he gave were very good. But it's not every day that you actually get to see the public ceremony of a Medal of Honor, so that was really cool to see. Let's talk about the Democrats, though. The Democrats who they did, many of them, not all of them, many of them did stand for the Medal of Honor recipients. How there were anybody who didn't stand for the Medal of Honor winners, that is, I don't know how that works. I don't know why you wouldn't stand, whether you agree with President Trump and the politics or not. Why wouldn't you stand when a soldier is being recognized, especially one of them being 100 years old and a World War II survivor? That I don't get. So while there were many Democrats that did stand for the Medal of Honors, there were still a few that remained seated. I don't understand that at all. And I think people, I mean, I'm probably going to go in and look and see if they can be identified. And I think they need to be called out. And I really hope that their seats are up in the primaries and that they get primaried. Other than for the Medal of Honor recipients, the Democrats as a whole did not stand through much of that State of the Union address. It was very, very not, it was one-sided. The Republicans, of course, all stood and cheered, but the Democrats didn't stand or cheer for hardly anything, that whole side of the room. And there were many things in there that shouldn't be political, that are clearly things that they're good for America and good for Americans, and they still didn't even applaud them, let alone stand and applaud. So that's why I wanted to come on and just talk for a few minutes, because it was just that's atrocious that you couldn't even stand for something that is clearly for America or pro-America. I just don't get it how you don't do that. That just creates divide. And I mean, we have so much of that going on, and I really hope that a lot of Americans did tune into that, because it really showed a story. It really told a story. The Democrats that didn't stand for anything, and then the Democrats who at least stood for the Medal of Honor recipients, and then those that didn't. But even worse than all of that is probably the comment sections of the videos that I was watching. I started watching on a site that I've been watching as an independent journalist. It's called Agenda Free TV. Oh, sorry about the sound. My phone is still on. But it's called Agenda Free TV. And apparently this was a moderator. I didn't know it at the time, but a moderator said that there's no religion talk allowed in chat. I guess, I don't know if it's all the time or just on the live streams. So I replied to that person. I said, God bless you. And I wasn't allowed to comment on the rest of the live stream. And that was disappointing to me. I understand why you wouldn't want that in your comment section. It can really lead to a lot of different things. And on the Boiling Point podcast page, I've had to block people and delete comments. Most of those are because they're just want to be trolls, and I've had to block them. They're not looking to have a dialogue. They're just looking to be incendiary. And I've also had to block people who attacked my viewers, my regular viewers, the fans of the page. I don't allow that on my page. Okay. So everybody's allowed to run their page how they want. So I can understand why they don't want that on their page. My problem is that we kind of live in a time where you can't just be quiet. You can't be a Christian and be quiet. So if Agenda Free TV was actually, Christian business or Christian owned, or there were Christians that actually ran it, then they would probably be able to stand up to that. The fact that they don't want any religion talk, I think you can't do that in this day and age. If you believe in God, it's time for you to stand up and say so. You can't just sit in the back and casually believe in God anymore. It's just that it's a different world. Okay. So I unfollowed them because of that. I was like, if you're not willing to be pro God and pro Christian, then I can't. I'm likely not going to follow you as that kind of a news source. So because who knows what else you might be restricting. It's not bad, but for me, that's why I decided to unfollow them. And then I decided to put on ABC's stream for a little bit, live stream on Facebook for just a few minutes. And then a little bit towards the end, I went to Rumble and put on Steven Crowder's live watch along. The thing, at least in the Agenda Free TV page, it was there was definitely a lot of conservatives, and there were some liberals as well. And on the ABC page, it was completely flooded with liberals, with only a few conservatives. But it was the comments that was the most troubling. On both of those pages, and likely from both sides. Not all the conservatives, just a few, but the liberal comments were just out of this world, and I think that's a bigger problem. Seeing how far people are disassociated from what is the truth and what are facts is just astonishing to me. I was watching the comments just as much as I was listening in on the State of the Union, and these people that were commenting are just out of their minds. Just especially the stuff they're talking about with President Trump. It's crazy with everything that you can look up, that you would still believe some of the rhetoric that was still being said when he ran for his first presidency. So I don't understand why you'd still believe that after everything, that you still believe something that was said like during when he was first running for president. So the comment section was more troubling to me because it clearly showed the divide and the disconnect between the conservatives and the liberals and reality and fantasy. It's so far. I don't know. I'm hoping that the majority of the people in the country still have their wits about them, and that, what you see on social media and stuff, the trolls and stuff, are just the trolls. That's what they are. That's what they do. They're unhappy in their own lives, so they get on social media to make everybody else miserable. That's why a lot of people and a lot of conservatives and a lot of Christian believers don't go on social media, because it is a really negative place. For someone like me who's building a media business and a podcast business, you have to be on social media platforms. That's just the way it is. But it is such a divide, and it's such a terrible ground, the comment sections of videos. I'm actually glad that I don't always get a whole lot of comments and a whole lot of viewers when I am live, because it can get way out of hand. So, I do want more viewers, of course. So make sure you stay tuned in and share it out. But the comment section between the sides were just it was so far. It's astonishing to believe that the divide has grown so that far, even after the events of Obama, and then Trump's first presidency, and then Biden. I have no other word but just astonishing is the only word. When I was reading the comments, I was just like, I have to get on the podcast and talk about this, because there are so many people. So if you're on social media, avoid the negative stuff. Don't leave social media altogether. Okay. It can be a place for good and positive things. Okay. Just use you're a consumer, just like you spend your dollars out there in the world. You spend them on things that you like, on things that you want. So use your likes, use your comments as that. Comment on things that you like. Hit the reaction button to things that you like. Don't leave comments. Don't get brought down in the weeds of negativity. Okay, don't comment negative on posts. It just draws more attention to the post that you don't like anyway. All you're doing is drawing more attention to it. That's why when we get trolls here on the Boiling Point podcast, I will let them go for a while, and if they stop, then they stop, and I leave their comments there. The only time I block them is when it gets completely out of hand. But these people that troll the page, all they're doing is drawing more attention to it. I get a lot more views and a lot more reactions and a lot more comments on a post when someone is trolling the page and disagreeing just to disagree, because that's what people do. When you disagree with something, when you don't like something, that's when you want to comment. Content people don't comment. They enjoy the show, they turn it off, they go about their lives. Discontent people are the ones who usually comment on social media. So what I would advise everybody is to leave a positive comment on something that you like and share out the content that you like, whether it's the Boiling Point podcast or whatever. Use your likes and your comments as a consumer, just like you would your money, because that's what it is. So that's what I would recommend for social media. If there's any help at all, I don't know that there is, but that's this is the world now. So for anybody that wants to really have a business, you're likely going to be on social media somewhere. And for the Democrats who didn't stand for the Medal of Honor recipients, I'm going to work very hard to hope you get primaried. And for the Democrats, for the entire Democratic Party that didn't stand for like anything else except that, then I hope that your constituents were watching, and I hope enough of them have their wits about them that they can see what you are, and that's evil, and that you don't have the best interest of this company in mind. One last thing before I close out is President Trump announced how he's going to pass a law how undocumented immigrants can't receive licenses, or maybe it was something about, I think it was undocumented workers. He was talking about how people couldn't even read English. They can't read the road signs. They can't speak English, and they get commercial driver's license. So it had to do with commercial driver's license. What I'm wondering is, there's got to be already a law, or according to our Constitution, that if you're not an American citizen, how can you get a state issued ID without being an American citizen? That's what I'm wondering right now. A CDL is a license. I think it's issued state by state, if I'm not mistaken. If there's any truck drivers or CDL drivers watching this, please leave a comment. But I'm pretty sure that CDL licenses are state by state. So how do you get a state ID while you're an illegal immigrant? Why do we need a law that says illegal immigrants can't get licenses or commercial driver's licenses? Doesn't that already happen? Wouldn't that be a redundant law? So I'm going to look into that. And if anybody's watching has that answer, please leave it in the comments, because I definitely don't. I thought for sure that it would have been it's illegal already, I thought, to be illegal in the country and to receive a state ID. You can't receive a state ID, a state issued ID, if you don't have documentation. So I don't understand that part. I'm going to do some research on it so that I can present it to you, the viewers, and see, so that you can understand it in case you don't also, because I definitely didn't understand what he was saying about that law, why we needed that law in the first place. So I'm going to look in and see if that law is even needed, or if it's a redundancy. But that would be my only complaint about Trump's speech, was that extra little thing that I don't really understand, the CDL, and why we need a law that says illegal immigrants can't get CDLs. Doesn't the word illegal immigrant automatically disqualify them to receive that CDL? So I'm going to look into that for everybody. And then the other thing I want to say is the end of his speech was fantastic. He really, he talked about American history. It was our history. That's what he was talking about. He was talking about our history and our culture, and where we've been and where we can go from here. And if you have a problem with the things that he said at the end, or the speech that he gave towards the end, I don't understand that either, because it was about our history and about staying united and moving forward. So it was very pro-America and American citizenry and what their responsibilities are. So I don't think anybody should have a problem with that, though I'm sure that many people did. So that's what I have to say about the State of the Union address tonight. There was just so much there that I needed to talk about it and with the viewers and get an episode put out on it, because it was some of that stuff was astonishing to me, between the comments on social media and the coverage of what happened when I was watching the Agenda Free TV. Was that it was a very eventful night. So I felt I wanted to get on here and share it with y'all. So leave a comment, share it out, please. Visit the storefront, bonfire.com/store/ the Boiling Point Podcast, and check out Marcus Fredrickson. He does the music for the Boiling Point Podcast. Make sure you go check him out. Share out your favorite song. ReverbNation.com/Marcus Fredrickson, and share out your favorite song and tag us on Facebook and on I'll be sharing out our Twitter. We're going to be getting more active on Twitter, so if you want, tag us on Facebook and on Twitter. And until then, until next time, it'll probably be you never know right now. Once I got moved, I was going to put the pedal to the floor, so I am planning some episodes, but you never know when I might just jump on here for an impromptu episode. But until the next time, I am your host, JD, and this is not the end, only the beginning.